I saw one of your posts recently that really hit home for me around like people don't need to put yoni eggs in to like experience God. That is permission, right? Like if you guys got to realize that's the energy, that's the vibe. She just is willing to rock the boat. She's willing to be that person. And so like I encourage all of you to have a little bit of that aspect in your DMs. What it causes is, we'll contrast the two. That causes an emotional spike. Whereas when someone is a robot, it's just like the opposite. It's just like emotional flatline. And so when I'm inside of DMs, I always want to create curiosity. I always want to create emotional engagement. I want to create these little spikes where people are like, ooh, whoa. Like I want to make them feel something. And I see DMs like flirting. Like every step of the way, I'm getting them excited for the next date. I'm getting them excited for the next thing. Like, ooh, what's around this next corner? Like that's what I mean by leading when I say that ABL. Is I'm always anticipating what's next and leading them in a way that's fun.
I've been getting dirty money, Jordan Belfort, stacking penny stocks while I'm flipping these birds, sipping on Ciroc, trip 'em up with the words.
Well, guys, I put together a really freaking sick training. I was having a ton of fun building this one today. Yesterday, I texted Sam. I was like, give me your Slack, give me your GHL. I'm diving in and I'm building out the scripts. So we got both the outbound script for phones, but the thing that and the DM setting script V1 built out already. The main thing I want to focus on today is just the foundations of DM sales. Although I did closing for like the first like 4 years, I closed like 6 mil, just like 1-to-1 phone sales or whatever. I never learned DM sales until the last like 7-8 months. And once I learned that skill, that cracked the code to booking JVs, that cracked the code to tons of self-setting. And really a sense of empowerment where even if marketing was down, I felt like I always had a way to go pull deals out of the pipeline and just like make magic happen. So my intention with sharing this is to give you guys a skill set, a tool that even if marketing is going up or down or something's happening, like you guys can feel empowered to go create opportunity and to actually like go hunt in a way, to generate it. I don't want to say hunt, but to pull it in, to call it in. Does that make sense? Sweet. Yeah. My Fathom is recording it. I'll send you guys the Fathom. And then I also have an external recording as well. So we'll have everything. It'll be beautiful. Yeah, you'll get the video from Fathom like immediately after this. It'll pop out. Perfect. And then I also will I'll put that Fathom link into the SOP that I already built for you guys and you'll have it. So it'll be good to go. Yeah. So all you got to do is take notes and learn. Pretty easy. So you guys excited? You want to learn some DM sales? You guys want to go make some money, have some fun? Let's fucking go. All right. So let me pull this up for you. Give me 1 second. So I had this download come through this morning. I was like, what am I going to call this thing? Because I've just recently, I'm going to call it the 4x4 method. So I'm going to pull it up for you. That felt like it just made sense for me. It's going to be the 4x4. So what we got is within DM sales, there's usually 4 phases to it. 4 skills that you guys need to know, 4 winning mindsets, and 4 mistakes. And in terms of the phases of any DM sales conversation, there's some sort of opening where we at least connect with the human, we be a human. There's probing, where we ask relevant questions to get them open to a next step. There's transitioning, which is what Lindsay and I have been working on, which is how do we actually transition to the sales call without being weird or the next step. And then there's setting the sale, meaning once we book an appointment, how do we nurture this person and warm them up appropriately? So by the time they go talk to Megan or whoever's closing, they actually know who Sam is. They've actually seen her content. They're actually coming in super freaking hyped. Those are the 4 phases. In terms of the 4 skills that I'm going to unpack with you guys, I really want to highlight this one because I believe this is I'm going to just make it big. Because I believe this one skill is the single-handedly the thing that's helped me get the most deals is creative re-engagements. Creative re-engagements, being able to not just sound like a freaking robot and be able to re-engage and re-enliven conversations in the DMs that have fizzled off. Like if you guys can just take that one skill out, which I will show you 5 or 6 different ways to do that today, y'all are going to set a bunch of appointments. And I know this because I already went and looked in Sam's GHL. I already saw what the conversations were doing. I already started progressing people down the pipeline today, and you have epic opportunity in there. So like, kudos to Sam, like round of applause for Sam for building epic marketing and a sick IG. Let's go. The other skills are authority statements, opening loops, piquing curiosity, tactful challenges. I'll go through what each one of these are in a bit, but I just want you guys to know what we're actually going to cover. The 4 winning mindsets, which is going to be ABL instead of ABC, as you guys maybe have heard, always be closing. Have you guys heard that before? I freaking hate that. so much. It's so lame. It's either always be diffusing or always be leading. Those are the only two things that matter to me. It's either always be leading or always be diffusing. When it comes to DMs, it's always be leading. The other mindset that's worked really well for me is having an aspect of just freaking curiosity. The thought process, I think I can help. I'm not sure yet. Let's explore it together. You game? Just coming from this like servant leadership place. Less is more. Keep your damn messages short. Brevity goes really well in the DMs. And my last mindset is, meh, who freaking cares? They're busy. If they ghost me, I don't give a shit. Like, meh, they're busy. We'll get back to them later. The 4 mistakes. Lindsay, did we talk about this one already? The pitching too early? I don't know if we did. One of the biggest issues I see is setters just going, you game to jump on a call? Would you like to jump on a call? Hey, let's jump on a call, like way too early when nothing's been built up. And it sounds needy. It sounds needy. I don't want you guys to look needy. I want you guys to have high status and to be seen as someone who's truly an advisor and a leader. Ignoring red flags, that's a huge one. Sometimes setters are like, I just need to hit my numbers, but they ignore all the red flags in front of them. A chasing energy where we're like not in abundance, we're in scarcity. And the last thing is just being a robot. So let me go down to some examples of this. In terms of actually the process, the first thing I want to look at is the scripting, and we'll actually go look at some example conversations. The first skill set, this is actually from today, is just how do we open some of these conversations without seeming like a robot? So this was one of the inbound leads that you had today. Hey, thanks for the message, kind words. The thing I want to share here is I keep Sam's voice. Lindsay texted me today saying, thank you for being permission to speak more authentically in the DMs. So I saw one of your posts recently that really hit home for me around like people don't need to put yoni eggs in to like experience God. That is permission, right? Like if you guys got to realize that's the energy, that's the vibe. She just is willing to rock the boat. She's willing to be that person. And so like I encourage all of you to have a little bit of that aspect in your DMs. What it causes is, we'll contrast the two. That causes an emotional spike. Whereas when someone is a robot, it's just like the opposite. It's just like emotional flatline. And so when I'm inside of DMs, I always want to create curiosity. I always want to create emotional engagement. I want to create these little spikes where people are like, ooh, whoa. Like I want to make them feel something. And I see DMs like flirting. Like every step of the way, I'm getting them excited for the next date. I'm getting them excited for the next thing. Like, ooh, what's around this next corner? Like that's what I mean by leading when I say that ABL. Is I'm always anticipating what's next and leading them in a way that's fun. Let me see. And yeah, Leanne, in terms of like partners, being able to have casual yet lead, it's this mix of being casual, but also having a direction and guiding together that for me has been able to like land tons of podcast opportunities for JVs and just booking those conversations tactfully. There's one thing, Leanne, for you specific. It's called the 3-step transition, which I'll go over in a little bit that I really want you to focus on. I think it'll help you when you're actually going to book any sort of partnership over DMs. So we'll get to it in a bit. Any questions on that so far, guys? Is that making sense with having Sam's voice not being a robot? One message I sent for you, Sam, this woman was like, made me so happy to get into your DMs. This woman was like, oh, I'm just getting started in breathwork. I'm like, cool. Have you tried the app yet? And she's like, no, let me get it to you. It's going to send you to outer space, but like the good outer space. Don't worry. And so like, that's what I mean by be willing to actually have playfulness in there. Cause it bring the human element into the DMs, guys. Otherwise people will ghost you because they feel nothing. Yeah, the willingness to be edgy is everything. This is like a super basic opener because I just didn't see any scripting for openers yet. But this was someone inbound. Hey, I'm looking to learn more about it. I would usually say something like yes, because I'm like hearing Sam's voice in my skull. I'm like, yes. I'd probably do YASS with like 3 S's. And then I would say love it. Because if you guys just say, oh, that's great. I want to paint the picture of like when you guys are in her DMs, own her voice and own her energy and have permission to go there. Because that'll be the most persuasive thing. Like I'll teach you guys the tactics and everything, but who you're being in the DMs will speak louder than what you're saying. this is super simple opener. What sort of practice plus coaching are you doing these days? I love using these little like pluses because they just make it feel like it's not a robot, and just more natural. So let me see what else we got. The beginning of a sales conversation, I'm assessing in the DMs, is someone resistant or are they open? Are they resistant or are they open? Because if they're resistant, I'm not just going to hit them with a ton of questions, because what am I going to get? A wall. Do I like walls? Not really. Do you guys like walls? Probably not. So one of my favorite things is consent and permission, right? And that works in all aspects of life, and it definitely works in sales. And so if you guys ever have people who are a little bit tougher, we can ask them if they're actually open to a conversation or closed. Who would have thought? We can just ask, right? Like, be adults and ask somebody if they're open. So I'll show an example of that here really quick. In the beginning of conversations, if they're closed off, and I saw Lindsay doing this, so I want to give her a shout out because I hadn't trained her on this yet, but I saw her doing it. So like, I don't know where you learned that, but good on you for getting ahead of the curve. Which is, mind if I ask you a few questions about your coaching practice and you know how you're growing it, just to see if I might be able to help? Or while you got me here. So if they think it's Sam, while you got me here, and they'll be like, yep, totally, shoot. Now you're in the pocket. It does two things. One, you get consent, and two, you get a response. And once you get a response, you have momentum. So like sometimes when I ask questions in the DMs, guys, my job isn't to get information. My job is literally to pique enough curiosity to get a response so that I can have the conversation. A lot of times my job isn't to get new information. It's literally to get a response. Because if I can't get a response, we don't even have the opportunity to have dialogue, to connect, and to get momentum going. So that's where I'm saying like, how can I creatively re-engage? And I'll show you guys examples of how I get that first response going and when people die off, so that we even have the opportunity to have a little back and forth. Because the best conversations that happen in DMs is once you get that response and they're present on their phone, we both lock in for 5 to 10 minutes, back and forth, back and forth. The amount of progress that happens in that 5 to 10 minutes is gold. Versus a bunch of surface level crap, I don't want it. Does that make sense, guys? Any questions on that? Like, of which piece? Yeah. So let me pull it up. So if people die off, we'll go to the transition in a bit, but let's go to like how I like to re-engage people. Super simple. Even if I go into our Slack and look at how I message Sam, because like the way I actually have adopted it, it's like, quick question, homie. I would do that in a DM. I would literally do something that simple. So let me go back to the re-engagements here. First one is conversational. The most successful re-engagements, the one that spark curiosity, is by Sam has a long-lasting brand, which is really good for you guys, because what that means is if you go into her DMs, you're probably going to see conversations or her Facebook or wherever that have been around for at least some time. I love to just go back to something personal that was in the conversation and ask a question about that. Hey, girl, just thinking of you. Give me an update about XYZ. And it's something that they had mentioned previously. And it's like showing that I care. It's showing that I'm listening. It's showing that I'm engaged. And my response rate on that is incredibly high. I can transition that back over to a business conversation. However, the first line of connection is actually just connection. How are they doing as a human? But not just doing it in a boring way where it's not relevant or specific. So the differentiator... Yeah, I think I got you on a call with it. Oh, I used it and then I pre-handled some objections because I knew you didn't want to get on a call. So I said, hey, I got a crazy idea and I know you're going to hate it. So I was getting a step ahead of her before she had a chance to object. Yeah, I respect that. And I like boundaries. Boundaries are cool. It works. I use this shit all the time. We're here. This is yeah, it's an open loop. So when I say, if we come back to those skills, one of the skills I talked about is opening loops and piquing curiosity. What did I do with Sam? I opened in a loop there. I said, yo, I got a crazy idea. I know she's hype. She's got to take the bait. There's no way she's not going to say, like, she's going to just leave that on red. Like, nah. I mean, you leave like like a ... Her response time was like freaking, she pounced on it, dude. You see what I mean? So let's go back to examples of re-engagement. There's the conversational, which as I get into your DMs more, what I'll do is I'll actually put screenshots of examples so you'll have them in here. Then it'll be more tangible. But the concept with the conversational one is like, just go look at their Instagram, look at their Facebook, look at the messenger thread, and say something thoughtful. So many DMs are just, hey, how are you? Hey, what's up in your world? Blech. Show that you did like 5 seconds of effort and thought, and the response will be insane. The second one that works really well for re-engaging if you already have a conversation is a command, which just after testing this worked really well. I would just say, hey homegirl, or if that language works for you guys. Hey homegirl, it's been a minute. Give me an update. Spelled GIMME, an update. Give me an update around blank. It's a command. It's not really a question. I'm actually telling them what to do. The response rates of that, because it's so casual, has worked really well. The crazy idea, I love using this because it allows me to pivot and go different directions. I don't even know what the crazy idea is half the time when I send it. I just know I want the response. I know that I'm going somewhere, but it's kind of like I do bachata dance, I do salsa dance. Sometimes I'm leading. I don't know where it's going to go yet, but I know I'll figure it out. That's what I do with the crazy idea is I send it, and then based off what's going to be most exciting, I position the next step. So it could be a booked call. It could be invite them to the 3-day workshop. It could be dope new resource or video, or just call them and actually get on a call. If they say they got 10 minutes, it's like, hell yeah, just call them on outbound if you have their phone number. So for Lindsay, it's like that gives you flexibility to just get someone to bite. They take the hook, and then you can decide where you want to lead it after that. Does that make sense, Lindsay? What are your thoughts on that? I'm curious to get your perspective. Yeah, it's like dancing, being present. If you try to predict 2 moves ahead, like you're cooked. You're in your head. I have to feel my follow and see where they go, and then decide as it's unfolding and just trust that you can lead. So it's really the same thing in sales and definitely in DMs. So that's why I got so obsessed with this, because I was like learning dance. And when I learned this, I was like, oh shit, it's the same. The GIFs, they're still working. If you guys have people ghosting you, you can use like a Pooh Bear GIF. I'll show you guys my favorite. However, I'm amping it up to a new level this year with AI. And I'm going to start doing like little custom videos that are like breaking news. And it'll be like a news reporter saying like, I'll do like a breaking news one. I'll show you the basic one just so you guys have it. But the breaking news would work really well. Let me go here. The GIFs are starting to get worn out because everyone's done them. But they still work. If I type in think and I go to Pooh Bear with his head and him thinking, like that's converted incredibly well for me. Or I type in hanging and it'd be like someone hanging on a swing. Like don't leave me hanging. Stuff like that has worked incredibly well over the years. Leanne, I see some laughing. What's going on over there? I'm curious. What's going on in your head? Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you respond to what's in front of you. Yeah, you definitely. I love. Yeah, like a lot of times I'll go into DMs with people and they're so paralyzed, and then I sit there and I do 2 or 3 with them. They're like, "It was that easy." It's like, yeah, you send a message. I haven't gone through his funnel yet. Yeah. It's the open loop. It's the curiosity. It's like it's flirting. It's flirting, guys. It's flirting in the DM, straight up. Like good DM sales is slightly playful, and it's also the difference between the reason that humor is so powerful is because it's not a needy energy. It shows that you don't care what they think, and you're detached. You chase money. You chase the dog. It runs away. So I liked. Yeah. Yeah. And doesn't care about ruffling some feathers. That's definitely a mindset that I'm willing to have. Like, and part of this comes, it's like if you, the reason I got so good at DMs is because I also got better at boundaries in my personal life. And then I felt like that translated to what I was willing to tolerate or accept in the DMs in every aspect of life, any conversation. And so like when prospects are being flaky or weird about their responses, I'm willing to like bring it up, be like, hey, can I be honest with you? I'll just say that in the DMs, ... open loop. They're like, yeah, what's up? They have to freaking bite on that one. My experience of you, and I'll just give them feedback in the DMs. My experience of you is inconsistent and a little bit flaky. I don't believe that's the type of person you are. However, that's my experience. I'd like to believe that you're the type of person who's really consistent and powerful and wants to show up in your life. I'm wondering, what are your thoughts though? Are you experiencing that as well, or what's going on? Something like that. And I could even do a voice note, but you just call it out, but not from a judgmental place. So that's why I brought up challenging. What will probably be most helpful is I can hop on calls with any of you guys who want support to actually just hang out for like 20 minutes at some point, 30 minutes and look at your DMs. Because what I've seen is theory is cool. But whenever I can actually sit down with someone for 30 minutes and just get into DMs and do conversations with them, this goes from like textbook to real life. And then they can take it and run with it. And it gets like tangible.
I've been getting dirty money, Jordan Belfort. Stacking penny stocks